Literally yesterday, I made the bold claim that the playoffs had the shapings and the makings of the greatest playoffs, just period blank, right? And then yesterday's games, I feel really exemplified just exactly what I was talking about, right? For starters, we have a team that was down 3-0 that has now won the last two games. They're looking to have a game 6 in Houston. We have on the docket we have a 45-point duel between Cade Cunningham and Paulo Banchero. We have the Cavaliers and Raptors games, which came down to the wire in a series where no home team has lost yet. Each team that has played at home has won every single game, and every single game has been very different. None of the games have been like, oh yeah, well, I mean, they won tonight because this team shot better at three, bro. Nope. It's not been like that. It's been like one of the main complaints that I've had as a fan, and I know this is something that old heads have been complaining about for a while. They explain it so fucking poorly that I don't even think that they were talking about the same thing most of the time. I think the NBA has a 3-point shooting problem, but not in the same way that like old heads think about it. I have the thing where I'm talking about a lot of teams rely too heavily on shooting variants to win their games. Let me repeat that. I think that certain teams in the NBA rely too much on 3-point shooting variants to win the game. That means when they are shooting their threes, they are relying on the math to back them up and not actually adapting to what the fuck is going on the court. Okay, we understand what I'm saying? When your three's not falling, you still have to take enough threes to make it respectable, and when they're open and they're coming from someone who's typically a good shooter, you want them to take that shot. That is a good shot. That doesn't stop being a good shot because you haven't hit the last 6. The math is going to tell you that eventually you will hit one. I know that tells you that. But at certain points in the game, when it's close and you don't need the 3, you need to use the threat of you shooting the 3 to open up other parts of the game. That's the entire point of spacing at this point. We take the 3s to open up the 2s because the 2s are at this point more effective and more meaningful and more impactful than any of the 3s, right? That's what the point of this is. I think old heads conflate this, what I just said, for teams shoot too many 3s, and even teams that don't make 3s shoot them. They have conflated the two. They are not the same. I am saying that the variance is the problem. That the inconsistency sometimes from teams is what makes the 3-point shooting experience so bad. Especially when you're not watching how the 3s are developed and where they come from and who's shooting them. Because yes, I agree. I think Jalen Suggs taking 6 threes a game is excessive considering how poor of a shooter he is consistently. But I think when he takes the 3s are not bad moments. They're good ideas. They just don't fall because they're coming from Jalen Suggs. And when those 3s do fall, they're fucking devastating. When Jalen Suggs hits a 3, it is the most, like, especially in this Detroit series. Because I don't think people realize this. In a series as close as defense is, and because, by the way, the defense has literally never been better. I've never seen this many defensive teams in the postseason where I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know what the fuck their offense does, but their defense is fucking insane. And these aren't even the top tier defenses in the playoffs. Like, I think everyone is what the heck? I think everyone understands that Boston, despite being a better defensive team than they are an offensive team by technicality, that they are, just in comparison to league average is what you should do as well to come to this conclusion, that because they're a great defensive team, yeah. But I think everyone and their mom would be like, oh, well, they shoot a lot of 3s. Toronto is a great defensive team. They don't make a lot of 3s. They make only like 11 a game. That's not a lot, especially considering they shoot 40. That's they're a below league average 3-point shooting team. The variance has helped them a lot in this series, but like still, when their shot's not falling, they still have an offense. They still have ways to get shit done. And that relies on their defense. I think Orlando's the same way. Detroit is the same way. I don't think Detroit's a great offense. I don't think anyone thinks that. Especially, and we've seen that they're not a great offense because what we saw, and I know playoffs again are very matchup dependent. I've said that. When Cade was being guarded by Franz versus when Cade is being guarded by the rest of the Orlando Magic, that's completely different. I think people have been completely disrespectful to Franz because Franz is their best player, and the numbers reflect this. In their games without him, they've only won 6 games out of the. They've only won 6 games. I think. Let me see. Let me just pull up StatMuse just to be clear, though. Franz. I'm so sorry. Not even allergies. I don't know what that was. Ugh. A sneeze factory or something. Okay, StatMuse. Wins without Franz Wagner. I just want to make sure that I'm right. I feel like StatMuse is my pick, but I don't know. And also, the internet has been going, so can't generate AI overview. I don't want a fucking AI overview. I want the god. Thank you. Orlando's record without Franz this season. Let's pull this up. They're a thoroughly mid team without Franz. They're a 25-23 team without Franz. That's basically a 50-50. And this is not a small sample size. This is 50 games. This is over 50 games. This is no, not 50 games. This is 48 games of sample size. That's like half the season. That's more than half the season even. They're a thoroughly mid team without him. And let's see how they are without Paulo Banchero. The Orlando Magic are 7-3 without Paulo Banchero. That is a smaller sample size, admittedly. But that's only a 10-game sample size, which is not a lot. That's only like an eighth of the season. And let's see. These are very early in the season, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Yeah, these are very early in the season. It's not. You're not nearly as getting much as from the sample size, but just from the numbers, they're a pretty good team without Paul. They're a pretty good team without Paulo. Even though it's a lot to extrapolate from just a 10-game sample size, the sample size that I told you from without Franz, they're a thoroughly mid team. That's their best player, and especially in this series, they're not going to be nearly as good without him. Not even just to mention the amount of offensive production you're getting from Franz. I think you saw the amount of offensive production you get from Franz last night. And I know you're saying to yourself, last night. Well, yes, Paulo Banchero gave them 45 points last night. That's pretty much just his average plus Franz's average offensively. He's doing everything for Orlando last night. And by the way, Franz and Paulo pretty much together do everything for Orlando anyway. So if that production right now, last night, what I saw from them, it wasn't enough to win the games, that's going to matter a lot, and that has a lot to do with the fact that they don't have the guy they can throw on Cade defensively. And Cade exploded for 45 in the game where Franz did not play at all. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. I just don't think that's a coincidence at all. We could also talk about the legitimacy and the shooting splits of the 45-point games. I don't think anyone's going to debate that, but let's see that. Let's go ahead and see that. That's the games today. NBA.com is what we're going to pull up really quickly. By the way, in that I did spend more time watching the Cavaliers game than I did the Magic and Pistons game. I will say this though, completely. There was a very big point in the game early on where before Paulo had even exploded yet, where I was just thinking, I don't know how the fuck they're going to keep up with this. I don't know if they have the firepower to keep up with this. And this is the game's final score was 116-119, but the duel that they were having wasn't inconsequential at all. Like, I don't think anyone can say this. And also, without Franz being on the court, I don't see an incentive for them to run double bigs like I thought they needed to run previously. Paulo Banchero, and this is a great shooting night from Paulo, by the way. Just want to point this out. He shot 6 for 11 from last night, and I know, again, Paulo took 11 threes. Yes, but he hit over 50% of them. So tonight I will excuse this, even though I think Paulo is not a good jump shooter. And for everyone wondering at home, the only person with a positive plus minus on this team is Wendell Carter Jr. And this is with Paulo's 45-point game. So there's that. He played 40 minutes last night. He shot 17 of 31. That's over 54% of the. That's over 50 for four. That's 50. That's pretty much 55% from three, 55% from there. The problem really that Paulo didn't do great last night, and this is something that's, I will say, is like really, it's really weird to see this considering he's normally a pretty decent free throw shooter. He shot 5 of 12 last night. Let's see, 7 assists, 6 turnovers. He had a lot of responsibility last night to dish out the rock. I'm not gonna lie. And also the little bit of playmaking that I've seen from him in the postseason as a secondary playmaker, not the first option. I like that from him. 9 rebounds. He had a great game. And also, he exploded in like the second half of this game, or was it the second quarter? Regardless, he was cooking crazy. And Cade, dude, Cade's 45 might actually be crazy. Holy fucking shit. It's crazy because they both had 45 in the same game, but like Cade's 45 is actually crazy. His plus minus is only 3, so if anyone's wondering, yeah, him and Paulo were going fucking nuts last night. He played 43 minutes. He shot 13 of 23 last night. 5 of 8 from the 3-point line. Jesus Christ. 14 of 14 from the free throw line. Holy shit. He had a 20-point second half. I know that for a fact that he had that one. I'm not sure. Both of these guys went nuclear last night. I encourage you to watch the highlights of the game last night. If you did not watch the game last night, I encourage you to watch the highlights. This will be I know for a fact this is a duel, a Dawkins duel. Free Dawkins is a highlight YouTuber that I grew up on, watching his highlights and stuff like that. How he edits it and gets me really old games and stuff, so I could actually view like what basketball highlights were like back in the day. It didn't allow me to really understand the game at its full, but like the shot selection was there from their star players, so I got to see stuff like that. Go ahead and look at that if you haven't already. That's amazing. This ties the series. This does not tie the series. This puts the series at 3-2. They have to win a game in Orlando because they lost a game at home. They have to win a game in Orlando, and they have to win another game at home. I have no idea how long Franz Wagner will be out of the series, but this is an encouraging sign for Detroit Pistons. I think it's crazy the NBA comments. It's like, yeah, Cade's 45 saves the Pistons. Instead of just being like, dude, Cade scored 45. Franz didn't play, and Paulo scored 45. The Pistons barely survived. So that's how I would have marketed the game. Jesus, that was amazing last night. Let's talk about the closer game in score. Or technically, it is our closest game in score last night. So I'm just going to say this right off the bat. RJ Barrett continues to be one of, if not the best player on this team, excluding Scotty Barnes, obviously. Scotty actually faced an injury last night, and he did not hit his threes. A lot of these threes, I'm going to be honest, were not catch and shoot threes. Again, Scotty as a catch and shoot 3-point shooter is actually really good, but when he has to create his own threes, he's not very good at them. He's not very good at taking shots off the dribble. This was one of the games where Colin Murray Broyle did not show up nearly as much, and you can see that they lost this game. Let's see. Battle was he was on the court. Dude, he hit some shots that made me just like really, really, really annoyed. Again, I'm a Cavaliers fan. I don't want to hide my bias. I don't want to be that guy, but when I heard that Brandon Ingram was not going to be able to play the rest of this game, I was genuinely scared for the Cavaliers. Not the fucking Raptors. I thought the Raptors can play just fine without him. I was scared for the Cavaliers because I meant the shots were going to go to someone else. And I was just like, oh, fuck. So Brandon Ingram obviously went out with an ankle injury. He tried to come back and he was thinking like it's just not good to play on. I wonder how much of that is his confidence because he's been playing like dog shit throughout this series. I am pro player, but when I see you play this badly, I have to be critical of you. He has been fucking awful throughout this entire playoff run. And I'm not saying that as an exaggeration. He has been terrible. Let me really quickly go and look up how bad he's been because I don't think I can put into words how truly awful it's been. It has been really, really, really bad. And we're going to compare it to the regular season numbers. I know I did this previously for him, but he's played worse since then. So, And it's had one good game, so you think it might balance it out. It's not going to. The one good game he had was in Game 4 of Toronto, and again, I wouldn't consider that a great game. It was a fine game. Let's see. Give me this year's stats. Oh my gosh, bro. Sometimes the internet just doesn't want to load. He's averaging, and these are the last 5 games. He's got a heel injury. I don't really want to count this game, but so yeah, I won't count that game. Let's see what he had in the last 5 games. Show me. All right. These are his totals. I don't want those totals. It's his regular season. He averaged in his All-Star season this year. He's averaged 21 points per game, and I will say he's doing this as the second option. Scotty Barnes is clearly a much more important player to this team, but I don't think anyone needed me to tell them that. He's averaging 21 points. He's averaging 2.4 turnovers, and I'm reading it right to left because that's how the thing shows me it. The assists are. That is 3.7 assists this year. Total rebounds is 5.6. And he did that on 47% from the field, but he had his 3-point shooting effectiveness was 38%. This postseason, he has been 12 points per game. 12 points per game, 2 turnovers, so those are roughly the same. The assist total is even lower, 2.2. The rebounds is lower, it's 3.2. The free throw percentage, I didn't take it to account. That's the only thing he's really been doing well. And honestly, he's only generating like 5 free throws per game if I round up, and he hits 4 out of 5 of those. That's rounding up. His percentage is actually 73.9. His 3-point percentage is not bad, but he's not attempting nearly as many as he did in the regular season. So, like, it's not that effective. And his field goal percentage is 38.2%. I'm not going to lie to you. When I said that I was more concerned for the Cavaliers when his injury came, I was more concerned for them. And by the way, this was the one game where Walter shot well. So let me point that out. I did not know going into the series, because I did not watch nearly as many Toronto games as I should have probably, that let's see, what is his name? Jacoby Walter was actually a good 3-point shooter. He has been very cold and very frigid in this series, and that means throughout all 4 of the games previous to this one. This game he shot 6 of 14 from 3. And I want people to know this. 6 of 14 is a lot of threes. 14 threes is a lot of threes. So for him to attempt this many and, 42% hit those, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that at all. That looks to be like where his shot diet is the most effective, and that he's supposed to be a spacer for this team. He has not been that in the previous 2 games. And honestly, when I saw his threes start to fall and the commentators telling me about that, I was like, oh my God, we're going to lose. Speed, I'm going to lose. That's how I felt, bro. I was so scared. RJ Barrett went off, bro. Again, the only reason the Cavaliers, you can tell yourself this if you're a Cavs fan and be honest with yourself. The only reason the Cavaliers won this game is because the Toronto Raptors are dealing with injuries. One of them was beneficial for them because it meant Brandon Ingram was not going to be on the court. That was the detrimental one. And Scotty Barnes was the beneficial one, because if Scotty continued the way that he was playing, by the way, the playmaking chops that I saw from Scotty in this game was scary as fuck. Now, some of them resulted in turnovers, but he was no-look passing very confidently, looking the defense away, and getting wide-open passes. His teammates were just not fucking ready for the passes. And I've said this about Donovan Mitchell. Sometimes his passing is reactionary, so his team is not looking for him to pass the fucking ball. And I said that about him in the 64 win season. They looked like they were like when he passed the ball, sometimes they were just not ready for it, ever. Scotty was just, no looks and everything. I'm looking over like, what the fuck? And mind you, Scotty's been hitting his threes off the catch and shoot, just off the catch and shoot specifically. And like he's going to the rim whenever he wants. He's the fastest player on the team. He's the best defensive player in the series. I'm looking over shitting my pants like, oh no. Oh no. Oh, and by the way, here's another thing. Here's one thing that I'm very proud that Kenny Atkinson actually did. We started Strus because we needed the spacing. Now, people are going to say to yourself, Strus only took, shots. And I thought you liked Strus off the bench. I did like Strus off the bench. When the offense was flowing, it's not. Strus needs to be in the starting lineup when the offense isn't flowing. Okay? Now, Strus only had 8 points today. But Strus was also Strus hit all of his free throws, so I can't be mad at that. Strus is the 5th option on this team. The 5th option. Who cares? He played 27 minutes of action. He had 4 rebounds, the 2 assists, the 1 steal. The 1 steal was actually huge. He had the 4 rebounds, and he hit 50% of his shots. Now he only take 4 shots, but hey, I don't care. He was effective. 5th option, by the way. Mobley looked so much better in this game. Now, he did not start the game off like this, but he went off in the 3rd and 4th. So if you want to say, well, if you want to just point out that this is coincidentally the time that Scotty Barnes was also injured, you can say that. But I would also like to remind people that neither one of these two really can guard each other. And I just straight up, neither one of these two can guard each other. I'm just being honest. And by the way, this was a game where he hit all 3 of his threes. Thank God. I was saying that if they want to win this series and they want to win the game, they are going to need to find the bigs. Donovan Mitchell had 19 points. He started off shooting the game really poorly. I will allow his 60% from 3, hitting 3 out of his 5 threes. That's not bad. I'm not mad at that. He did not take an excessive amount of threes. I'm not mad at that. Him barely getting to the free throw line is a problem. That's a problem. He needs to get to the free throw line more than this. And I know he can get to the free throw line better than this. Harden has taken a lot of ball handling responsibilities, and he shot pretty well last night, 7 of 13, 4 of 8 from 3. But some of the 3-point shots were ill-advised. The turnovers were detrimental at points at times in the game. You know what's something that wasn't detrimental, and something that I said Kenny Atkinson should have done with the game in Toronto? I don't know why this guy who was going on a run and killing Toronto's defense in the 3rd and 2nd in the 2nd quarter, in the 3rd quarter as well in Toronto, why he didn't get as many minutes in the 4th. He played Dennis Schroeder. Now, earlier in the series, I was thinking to myself, oh my God, Keon Ellis on the floor, kill me. Oh my God, Jason Tyson on the floor, kill me. Not Jason. Jalen Tyson. I'm so sorry. I saw them on the floor in the beginning of the series. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna kill myself. By the way, the bench showed up tonight. I think they had 43 bench points. Merrill came off the bench. He was really effective. And by the way, all 3 of the 5th options in the starting lineup that we have as available options, like as in a Sam Merrill, a Strus, a Dean Wade, none of them are perfect. But all of them play crucial roles, and they can all be interchangeably swapped out depending on what the series needs. If we need defense and shooting, you can put Strus on the floor. If you really just need defense in the last guy, you put D Wayne on the floor. And if you really need shooting, you put Sam Merrill on the floor. And by the way, Sam did not. This is Sam shot the ball the least amount of times he's done in the series. Every single shot that he made mattered. All of them mattered. And Thomas Bryant, thank God Thomas was in foul trouble quickly, because what I'm telling you this right now, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart. Ever since when Thomas Bryant gets on the floor of any team that I watch, he is straight negative. Nothing. Did you know he was on that championship run in the Nuggets? I knew this, but I knew this in the same way that a lot of people knew this, which was, holy shit, Thomas Bryant is on this roster. Instead of, oh my God, Thomas Bryant is playing minutes right now? He didn't play minutes in the playoffs. Do you know why he didn't play minutes in the playoffs despite Jokic not having a backup center? It was because they didn't fucking feel confident in him playing in a rotation. And I hate this guy. Schroeder was getting whatever the fuck he wanted last night. He had 3 of 6 from the 3-point line. Again, this is a role player, so this matters a lot more than what I said of Donovan Mitchell's. He took 11 shots. He had 7 of them. The drives to the rim were super good. No turnovers. The assist, not there either. But again, he's not the primary playmaker when he's on the floor. He's a second option to score. He was great last night. The 21 minutes we got from Schroeder, amazing. The 13 minutes we got from Tyson, amazing. I'd even go as far to say as the little bit of time that Dean Wade was on the floor, he, even though the offense wasn't there, the defense certainly was. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Dean Wade. I think he's responding a little bit worse to the postseason than I thought he would. I thought he would be like a 40% shooter because all of his shots would be coming from three and maybe like a little bit better in the paint. But it didn't matter. And by the way, Jared Allen only took 5 shots this night. Jared Allen's 5 shots when they came in the second half of the game, the fourth and third specifically, they were huge. Toronto led this game for a while, and it was hard. It was a hard lead. It's 7 points up. Cavs' offense was not flowing. A lot of that has to do with turnovers. Again, this team was turning over the ball a lot. I don't think... Let's see what the total turnovers are. Let's see. They turned the ball over 14 times. Literally whatever... And by the way, this is the game where everyone was tied in turnovers. So if you're wondering, the turnover thing is literally how we determine how the teams were winning in previous games. I guess I should probably like cut this off and start talking about the Rockets and the Rockets. Okay, let's be honest. I did not care about this game. I did not care. I could not care. I did not. We gotta adjust for inflation when it comes to these teams. They are. Let's just say that their offense, the offense from these two teams, is much more akin to something that you would see in the early 2000s. So when I say a player had like 18 points, realize that that's like 25 points in a series where people have, where the final scores are like in the 120s or something. A normal score for today's game. All right, so adjust for inflation on that. Amen Thompson was bad. He was super ass today. He was bad. There's no things about it. This is coming off the Amen Thompson game where he was playing really, really well. He did not play good today. Let me tell you something that was great. Sengun looked more like a role player today. He took less than 10 shots. That is the lowest shots of anyone who started. He had 5 of the 9 shots that he took. That was crucial. I was grilling him after the end of the game for him only having 14 points and them giving him the fucking interview like he was like the best player on the floor last night. I had no clue and no idea that he only took 9 shots. I would wonder why he only took 10 shots, but I'm gonna be less critical of him because it wasn't a win. Let's talk about Austin Reeves and how he came back last night. Austin Reeves was pretty bad. He was pretty bad just from a shooting perspective, but let me explain why the shots are not that bad. He shot 4 of 16 and 2 of 8, so 25% on both occurrences. But a lot of the shots they were asking him to take were in the middle of a run, and just like some of the shots he missed. He was just kind of off. He was good from the free throw line, 12 of 13. That's 92%. He was very good from the free throw line. I'm not taking anything away from it. It's clear the injury has clearly affected him because some of the shots he was missing are just shots that I know will go in. Give it enough time. I know those shots will go in. I'm not worried about how bad of a postseason player Austin Reeves is because of fucking one game against Houston's defense. I got a lot of guys that can throw at him. By the way, if anyone's wondering how LeBron played last night, and by the way, Bronny did not play. I think that's a little weird. I know they were desperate for ball handlers, and with Austin Reeves coming back, you're not going to want him to be on the floor nearly as much, but yeah. And by the way, Ayton was dominant. Ayton was dominating the Sengun matchup because Sengun can't fucking guard him. And I know a lot of us have been saying, well, he can't guard Sengun. Yeah, we thought that too. Apparently, he's guarding him well enough for him to take sub 10 shots being their best player. So keep that in mind, and even when he took the 9 shots, he was effective in those 9 shots. He had 5 of the 4 of them. How many free throws did Sengun generate last night? Let me. And I do want to say this. DA did foul him a couple of times, but like, how many free throws did he take? 4 free throws. Seriously? He only took 4 free. Okay. Only took 4 free throws. So there's that. Oh, by the way, the one free throw that Austin Reeves missed was a technical free throw. For those curious. I don't know why I remember that, but I do now. Marcus Smart was not nearly as impactful as he's been in the previous games, although I will say for Marcus Smart and the role that they asked of him, he played very well. He was spacing the floor, shooting 3 out of the 7 threes. Braun had 25 points, 9 of 20 shooting, so basically 45%. Threes were not dropping at all. I would hope that when Luka comes back, if Luka comes back, that he just stops taking them all together and goes back to what he was doing in the regular season, where he stops taking nearly as many threes. Obviously, LeBron's jump shot and from the 3-point line has not been good the entire season, and I do say the entire season very lightly because again, he did not play as many games. I will say though, we do have a higher sample size in minutes from LeBron James than we do have from Wemby, so keep that in mind. So we do have a good enough sample size as far as minutes. As far as games, not so much. All right, his 3-point shot is not falling. The passing and playmaking and the slashing from him though is still pretty good, especially because the slashing results in him getting to the free throw line 10 times, and he hit 70% of his shots last night. I don't think I have to do the math for you. That's 7 out of 10. For those curious, he is still effective there. The things and problems that we're having with LeBron James are a result of him having to be more of a number one option than he had to be the entire year. So if you have a problem putting Braun in your top 10, I understand that. If you have a problem putting him in your top 15, though, I'm gonna start to raise eyebrows. The 3-point shooting is just not there. It's not there, and that's fine for him to be doing that as a second option because his playmaking and his ability as a slasher, that's fine. Ayton's 18 points were pretty good. And by the way, Austin shooting 25% last night still was able to give him 22 points. More points than shots. So don't be too hard on him. Hayes did not really. I don't remember Hayes at all. I don't know why Hayes didn't play that much last night. It was kind of weird. I know Ayton was having a pretty good game when he was playing, so there's that. But I don't know why Hayes did not play that much. There certainly had to be minutes where Ayton was like just not as productive as he had been through certain stretches of the game, where they could have slotted in a Jackson Hayes. I guess Hayes is probably a worse defender on Sengun though, so there's that. Yeah, that's something. It's a give and take. Everything's a give and take in the postseason. Kennard has continued to struggle. Obviously, his struggles did not matter nearly as much because Austin was back, but you know that's something to take note of. And Rui was Rui last night. He hit some of the threes that mattered. His jump shot always looks smooth. Yeah. I am kind of worried for this team though. Their turnovers have been really, really bad. They've been really bad throughout the entire series. How many turnovers is that? That is 15. And the Rockets had 10. They're losing the turnover battle. They're probably losing the rebound battle. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. So if they're not going to get shot making from Kennard and Smart and Austin Reeves and LeBron James and Ayton and Hayes, and they're not going to get shot making from those guys, they might choke the 3-0 lead. I doubt they'll choke the 3-0 lead. Every single game that gets longer and longer in the series, it's more time for Luka to get back. It's more time for Austin to get his footing underneath him. If I'm the Lakers, I probably don't care that this series is dragging out because of those reasons. But you were up 3-0, and if it comes down to the wire in a Game 7 in LA, that's going to be problematic. The next game is in Houston. That is Game 6 of the series. That's going to be taking place on Friday. Look forward to that. Look forward to everything, dog. All of those games are going to be on Prime Video, though, unfortunately. So, darn it. Tonight's games, we got the Hawks and Knicks in a Game 6. Boston and the Sixers in a Game 6. And also, the Nuggets and Timberwolves in a Game 6. If I'm the Timberwolves, I'm looking to close out this series right now. I already know DiVincenzo and Ant are not going to be back anytime soon. But I just look to close the series out and win this and send the Nuggets home because at this point you are just the biggest haters on the planet, and that's what you need to get done. If I'm the Celtics, I look to close out the series right now because Embiid is genuinely something concerning. It's concerning, and because the Embiid that we saw in the past 2 games has been like, oh God, well, if they're gonna get that, maybe they'll get the production from Tyrese Maxey as well. Like, this could be a problem. And if they get the production they saw from Paul George throughout most of this series, shit, fuck. And for Boston, hey, y'all better hit them threes, cause it gets spooky when you don't hit them. And let's talk about the Knicks game real quick. I am not worried about the Knicks. I said the Hawks could upset them. I never said that they would. I said they could. Now, the Hawks have been playing a lot better. The Hawks played a lot better on the road, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how they respond playing in Atlanta today. We'll see. All that being said, like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. I have no idea what the thumbnail of the video is. If you like the thumbnail, tell me about that. If you like the video, tell me about that. If you dislike the video, tell me about that in the comment section below. All that being said, peace.